Esteemed guests, please stand for the singing of Negaraku and Wawasan Setia Warga UiTM. Guests may now be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to bless our event today, let us all join in to hear the Quran recitation and raise our hands as we recite the prayer led by the esteemed Mr. Abdul Hakim. Please welcome Mr. Abdul Hakim.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inshallah, we'll read Surah Ar-Rahman, and the verse that I will read will be displayed on the screen so that everyone can understand what I'm reading. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي زواج أمهات المؤمنين ذرية آل بيته كما صليت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا منه تفرقا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل منا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم ارحمنا، اللهم انصرنا، اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان وخصوصا في فلسطين. اللهم انصرهم يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم آمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you to Mr. Abdul Hakim for leading the recitation of the Quran and the prayer earlier. As the curtain rises, the future ignites. With ideas and passion, we scale new heights. Through digital realms, we pave the way, crafting tomorrow from dreams of today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Ahmad Zainuddin, Chairman of Certified Industrial Designer Committee, Dr. Predrag Nikolic, Full Professor and Chair of the Graduate User Experience UX Design Program College for Creative Studies, Detroit, United States. Dr. Muhammad Razif Abdul Razak, Program Coordinators, Lecturers, Students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and welcome to the opening ceremony of the 10th Graduate Seminar of Design for Social Innovation and Sustainable Community. I am Juna, the host for this afternoon's event. For your information, the event is a compulsory event that are being held in every semester under the subject AMT 805 Graduate Seminar. This is the 10th Graduate Seminar. Distinguished guests, to set the tone for today's gathering, we will hear the opening address from Mr. Ahmad Hafizuddin Abdul Aziz. Please welcome Mr. Ahmad Hafizuddin.
Good evening, everyone. Standing before you today as we gather for this final seminar is an honor. I would like to extend a warm welcome to each participant and guest. Your presence here makes this occasion truly special. Today, we are here to celebrate this meaningful event. This seminar allows us to reflect on our achievements and take away valuable insights that will inspire and guide us moving forward. Before we proceed, let us take a moment to reflect on the success of our previous MENA seminars, where we had the privilege of learning from our esteemed speakers, Mr. Rosnan bin Abdul Rahman, Mr. Muhammad Baihaki, Mr. Pakruddin, and Mr. Ahmad Fazli Musa. These expertise and insights have significantly contributed to our journey and set the foundation for today's event. This final seminar is even more exciting as we look forward to 28 talented students presenting their papers on the 16th of January. This marks a remarkable milestone in their academic journey, and we are all eager to witness their dedication and hard work in action. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to Chairman of the Certified Industrial Designer Committee, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Ahmad Zainuddin, and our distinguished guest, Professor Dr. Predrag Nikolic, for their unwavering support and dedication. Your contributions have been invaluable in making this seminar a reality. Additionally, my deepest thanks go to our lecturers, Dr. Muhammad Razif Abdul Razak and Dr. Hazin Shahrudin, for their guidance, mentorship, and encouragement throughout this journey. To the organizing committee, your hard work, commitment, and attention to detail have been the backbone of this event's success. Thank you for your tireless efforts. Before we begin, let us acknowledge the energy and enthusiasm each of you brings to this occasion. Together, we can make this seminar a success and a memorable experience for everyone involved. Without further ado, I officially welcome you to our final seminar. Let us maximize this opportunity to learn, grow, create lasting connections.
Thank you, Mr. Hafizuddin, for that insightful and warm welcoming address. Your words truly set the tone for what promises to be an inspiring and engaging event. Like the morning dew on petals bright, we now welcome our guests with honor and light. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please let me welcome Yang Berbahagia Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Ahmad Zainuddin, Chairman of Certified Industrial Designer Committee, to deliver the speech and officially inaugurate the event. Please welcome.
Thank you. Well, it's nice to be back in this very historic hall. I was here for 26 years as a lecturer, associate professor, and eventually professor in the area of graphic design and innovation. This is an honor to be back here and see some of my ex-students now a lecturer in this faculty. And to see them grow in their profession makes me very happy. So I'm now standing right behind my own logo. There. I also hear the song that I co-compose and the lyric that I co-write. Wawasan Setia Pelajar. This was way back in 1999 when ITM became a full-fledged university. And from then onwards, we were competing for strategic positioning of the university, fighting with local universities, 20 of them, and a few thousand universities overseas. Guys, you are very fortunate to have lecturers who are excellent and with the right qualification to put you further in your studies and in your career eventually. I had the opportunity to learn from my senior and also my lecturer before in 1969. I was a student in ITM way back in 1969. That was like, how many years was that? 1969? 50 over years, yeah? It was a long time ago when the government, the only art school, formal art school, was established in 1967. And I was the third batch, 69. It started with 67, 68, 69, eventually now it is already 2025. It's a long way before we grow up into a mature art school competing with other art schools within the country and also outside the country. You know, when you talk about art education, the first formal art program was basically created, art craft program was basically created in 1922 in SITC, Sultan Idris Training College, and now UPSI. I was the former dean there as well. It was the first art-conscious program where craft is the base, 1922. And then in 1938, the first art school teaching painting, focus on painting and drawing, was established in 1938. The so-called NAFA, Nayang Academy of Fine Art, was established in 1938. So that was the beginning of formal art and design program. And then came ITM, 1967, and then MIA, Malaysian Institute of Art, and a few other art schools. And now you have so many art schools in this country, and one of the famous ones is in Subang Jaya, One Academy. You know, even though my background is design background, I've been going around the nation holding position from CEO to vice chancellors to deputy vice chancellors to head of excellence center. So my range of experience basically covers beyond design. That's what I wanted students to take this cue. You are not limiting yourself to just design, but look into other areas, science, technology. Now you have AI, you have you know, all these general policies, global policies like Fourth Industrial Revolution. You have also 5.0, you have 4.0, and you name it. It's all around us. It started from the West, but it is brought here to this area. But eventually, I hope our designers, our students, can be one of the person who create new ideas in design, in technology, and so on. So today, I am very happy to meet Dr. Predrag Nikolic. Yeah, a very nice guy who spent his life traveling all over the world, and he's from Serbia and a few other countries, and now he's here for the last 3 months. Yeah, you are welcome in this country, and enjoy yourself here, and enjoy the food, and talk to a lot of people. They can give you advice on many things, from culture to art, design, and everything else. So enjoy your stay. Are you going back very soon or what? See here, stay here, stay here. This is a nice country where you have mixture of Chinese, Indian, Arab, Malay, everything is here, is a combination of all that. So in honor of your presence, I will read this text in English. Since 2019, academic semester, DSISC has established itself as a brand and platform for discussing sustainability and social innovation. I do teach this subject before, you know, in this university, with the context of visual arts and design. Now that we are celebrating its 10th year, I was here the first year, I think, first or second year. So today, January, I am 75. Please don't harm my health so that I could reach 80. It's a long way. 75. Ya ke? So I'm 75 this year, this January, you know. So I am still active in promoting design, giving talk to ASEAN countries, Brunei. 3 weeks I was in Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and a few other countries. So I'm very happy to depart some of my knowledge in the area of design thinking, design management, and those other areas related to design and innovation. I did my PhD 35 years ago in Manchester Metropolitan University, 35 years ago, and I was doing managing design for export. That was my topic, managing design for. So I visited about 40 British companies who actually design the product and export it. What are the criteria for successful exporting? And one of the criteria is design. They make a good effort to include design thinking in their product design, and eventually the success rate is very high. Their sales rate goes up by 26%. That was like 35 years ago. So they believe in design. Now, Malaysia, where I was the former chairman of Malaysia Design Council, and now I'm chairman of CIDE. That is a certified committee on industrial design, covers everything, not just industrial design, fashion, graphic, all these are under CID. It is recognized by the government, and I hope lecturers here and students do register to MRM, where I am the chairman of CID. We will review your portfolio and we will award you the CIDE title. And eventually, the word CID will be put in front of your name like TS. TS, you put DS. Hopefully, with the permission of the ministry, we'll be able to do that. You have TS, you have DS, you have DR. Well, that's a good start to position yourself as a designer. The emphasis on social innovation for community sustainability provides excellent value to graduates, preparing them for careers in various creative industries. DSISC plays an essential role in preparing students for future difficulties. The word is difficulties. It is true. Nowadays, if you look at the whole scenario of design, has now merged with other disciplines. There is a new term called engineered art. Engineered art is a combination of design, art, and engineering and science. One of the best examples of what engineered art is the humanoid robot. The humanoid robot is an example, is an output of engineered art. So art is very much into science. Art is very much into technology. If you say science is not related to you, you are dead wrong. You have to understand the value of science, the value of technology, because eventually arts, engineering, and science will be together. Let me tell you one example of how ChatGPT, how humanoid by the name of Ida, bukan Ida budak kampung baru tu, by the name of Ida, created by one company in Britain, working with Oxford University and Birmingham University, created Ida, the robot that do paintings and design. Last 2 months, the painting was auctioned in London, and the painting was sold for 5.78 million ringgit. So where do you put yourself? You're a designer, you're an artist. Now that this Ida thing, the robotic Ida, the robot, is now creating artwork and sells for millions, 5.75 million ringgit. So there goes your challenges. You cannot be the typical, those days, art person who just sit alone and not knowing what is happening around us. It is a combination of art, science, technology. So now I have to continue reading the text because he was the one who created the text, so I'm reading it. DSIC began as a standard seminar, but changed during the COVID-19 pandemic by moving to webinar formats using media such as Facebook Live, Instagram Stories, and YouTube Live. This shape maintained the program's continuity while complying with the movement control under MCO. After the epidemic, DSISC established a hybrid strategy. The word hybrid is very, very important. When you say hybrid, it means a combination of more than 2 elements. Among the guest speakers who have enriched DSISC was Dr. Nasir bin Muhammad, Luncai Emas Sdn Bhd, Datuk Rizalman bin Ibrahim, used to be UiTM board member, and then you have Ibrahim bin Anon, cartoonist Ujang, you have Tuan Haji Burhanuddin, Kopak Production, Puan Pat Wahid, marketing expert, Professor Madya Haji Azali Abdul Rahim from First City University College, Professor Madya Dr. Su Winchi, Multimedia University, MMU, Associate Professor Dr. Joyce Roy Yee, Northumbria University, Pak M. Hendrawan Himawan, Institute Seni Indonesia, Surakarta, Encik Bon Zainal, fashion icon, and the rest, I think. So I don't want to read through, it's quite long. I know you're getting bored with the speech. I'll reduce it to just another paragraph. Congratulations to the College of Creative Arts, UiTM, and the Faculty of Art, Sustainability and Creative Industries, industry partners on this outstanding partnership. This collaboration marks a key milestone in advancing innovation and excellence in the creative arts. The mic is going down slowly, I don't know why, because the screw there I think is loose. Never mind, you will talk to my chest. Thank you, all guests, participants, speakers, and collaborators for being part of this special occasion. Together, let's begin a new chapter of discovery and innovation with DSISC 2025, shaping the future of creative arts research. Thank you, and let the symphony of DSISC 2025 begin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Ahmad Zainuddin, for your insightful and inspiring words, as well as for officially inaugurating this event. We are truly honored by your presence and the wisdom of you have shared with us today. It's not just this building is prehistoric. The mic stand also, please. Sekejap, Boleh? Tak apa. Let us now proceed with the next phase of our event, the montage of final graduate seminar, the 10th graduate seminar of Design for Social Innovation and Sustainable Community. Thank you all for watching that wonderful montage. It truly highlights the essence of what we are celebrating today. A big thank you to the team behind it for their creativity and hard work. This montage is a beautiful reminder of our journey and the exciting path ahead. Let's keep moving forward, inspired by the vision of what we have seen today. From the spark of code to the art we see, a future unfolds where dreams roam free. Today, we explore with wisdom and grace, designing tomorrow in this boundless space. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the highlight anticipated part of today's event. It is now time for the main agenda. Allow me to welcome our moderator, Mr. Fairuz Falafi Fauzi, to moderate the next event. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Our honorable guests, before I call our guest speaker, I'll just explain a little bit about our format today. This is pretty much going to be not a forum, though you have to sit here. You will be delivering the keys, note seminar by yourself. But I will be joining you towards the end to deliver the questions that perhaps we have prepared. And hopefully, there are 6 pretty much the questions. And suppose that in your seminar or in your delivery, you have answered it, then I'll open the floor to the guests. Now, designing tomorrow from digital renaissance to digital postmodernism. That's our topic today. And without any delay, I would like to invite Dr. Predrag to come to the center of the stage.
Thank you for your warm. I'm trying to scan. Thank you for your warm welcoming. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really honored to have opportunity to give this speech. I would just like to add that I think it is. I'm not by accident actually in Malaysia. So okay, so my wife is Malay actually. So that's how we end up here. And I'm really glad to be here and to have this opportunity to share these ideas for today and to talk about this interesting topic. I think you will enjoy it. So the title of the presentation is Designing Tomorrow, so from digital renaissance to digital postmodernism. And so why that title? So I would like first to explain. this Renaissance and postmodernism is actually attached to Western art. Yeah. So essentially, it's attached to development of Western art. But I did the checking, and what was happening worldwide is actually we can follow the same development in every part of the world. Okay, that's the first reason why we are having this title. So it's attached to certain human development of human creativity. The other idea behind this presentation is that human civilization is going through cycles of development. So this planet is 4.5 billion years old. We as a species, 250,000 years. And through that period, we have certain patterns we are following in our development, including nowadays, including this contemporary moment. And then we have a title of this event and this seminar, which is Social Innovation and Sustainable Community. And we have social and community, okay? So kind of like, but throughout this period of time, we always had social and community. And something was happening with that community throughout that development. And as somebody who is teaching for the last 20 years, as well as I lived in 10 countries, I figured out that especially new generations, you kind of are forgetting to think holistically about creative act of creation and to understand human knowledge which actually brought us to this point. So it's not only we have technology, we have computers, and now we are kind of certain elite, and we have more opportunities than somebody else from 100 years ago. And Picasso said, you can't be a great artist if you don't know or you don't understand the history of development of art and design, in that case, in history of art. So that knowledge is really important. So that kind of parallels, I will try to compare our time with the time which was behind us or which preceded us, and that kind of knowledge and learnings we have throughout that periods which took us to this point. So the core, I would say the core of us having intention or being inspired to be creative is actually what? It's communication. So we want to communicate something. That's what is the core. And if art and design are mute, I don't consider that as an art and design, okay? And unfortunately, throughout the historical period, we have some periods where art wanted to have that kind of, I would not say even exclusive position, but position to be out of society. Okay, so we are starting this presentation. This is me. Unfortunately, not a bit younger, so I'm this age now. I have photo when I'm much younger, but I choose this one. So as I said, I worked in 3 continents, 8 universities, and 9 companies. At the moment, this is kind of like my journey, yeah? And I've been actually in Malaysia in 2016 for the first time. And then I left to China in 2017. So let's start with our presentation. So communication in the core of our inspiration. And here I'm actually showing that pace of development to different periods. And what is important in this actually graph is that if you look a little bit better and understand the periods, which is Renaissance, Baroque, Classicism, etc., you will see that we needed 100 years in between different periods. So between the Renaissance and Baroque is 100 years. And then we have like small movements like Classicism so from Baroque to Classicism, and then we have to Modernism, again 100 years. And then Classicism, Postmodernism, 50 years. So the period was like 100, 100, 100, then 50, and then we started actually to make that range smaller. And that's what is being interesting for our presentation today. So the pace of development, the pace of changes are becoming shorter. And that's our time, okay. So, and we started with Renaissance time, okay. So the Renaissance, the word Renaissance actually comes from French, and it's rebirth, okay? And the origins of Renaissance is we are addressing to Italy, yeah? And what is interesting that we need to know what happened, what was before Renaissance time. Before Renaissance time were dark ages, okay? 1,000 years of dark ages, nothing, okay? No free thought, no free opinion, no contemplation, not philosophy, nothing, okay? Like living on very low level of, very low civilized level. And that's why we call this period Renaissance time. It was huge turn of our civilization to something which actually promotes values of humans, okay? Human virtues. And if we go through any kind of religious thoughts and learnings, social learnings, philosophy, we will see that the common component is always emphasizing human values, okay? And within that human values, we are talking about body and mind, okay? And this segment is actually creation of Adam, Michelangelo, from Renaissance time. And for me, it was really inspiring this momentum when humans are facing their God nature, okay? Because why we are creative, there is one historian, and his name is, I forgot now, Hammers. And he said like this, why Homo sapiens actually sustain comparing to other species? Because we can believe in something which doesn't exist. Nobody else can do that on this planet. That gives us imagination, fantasy, and ideas, okay? So, we need to be aware that that nature, that creative nature is actually blessed of God. Because nobody else has it. So how we got it? So that's why this is so inspiring for me, this creation of Adam. As well as the momentum where we started actually before that we were not emphasizing beauty of human anatomy. Because again, if we are creation of God, then everything what we represent is fantastic, yeah, it's beautiful. Everything what we represent is a masterpiece. So that is the period where, when we started to glorify humans as a creation, ultimate creation, and then humans as creative entity in the civilization. But what is even more important for that period is radical change of the way how we are communicating. Because that's the period, and that's why this Renaissance period and kind of comparing these two periods are so important. Printing machine, Gutenberg. From that moment, knowledge was approachable or disseminated to not everybody, but more massively to people, okay? Do you have any kind of do you have any comparison on your mind when knowledge is becoming free and knowledge is starting to spread all over the place? And that actually is making us, because without being aware of knowledge, we can't be creative, just to be clear. So we need to collect knowledge. We need to process that knowledge in order to come up with ideas. And that's why Renaissance time was so important. Another masterpiece of that time is compass, actually. Navigation. So humans started to be able to travel. Because, that's why I'm traveling, okay? Because you need to explore this planet. Without knowing people, without knowing different cultures, without sharing with different cultures, you can't actually be creative. It's impossible. If you are sitting at home and you are not aware of anything else on this planet, and this plethora of cultural differences and beauty, and in every country I used to work, I actually enjoyed in that period, especially that period where I was discovering, starting from cuisine, folklore, a religion, philosophy, the way how you are socializing. I'm not meaning, it's not only Malaysia, but every country used to be. And that's what actually started at that time, okay? So being able to think holistically and to be part of this civilization, and with your ideas actually to kind of like advance civilization, develop further the civilization. And the second, third, fourth thing coming from Renaissance time is science. We talked about science. So this is actually in Firenze, Duomo. It's a cathedral church there. And Filippo Brunelleschi come up with the idea of two cubes. So this was absolutely impossible to make before they come up with that based on science, how to put that to look like this. And believe it or not, we still use this system. And the system itself was invented, 500 years ago. And the third, the Dante Alighieri, Divine Comedy. So we have development of literature, sharing ideas through that kind of experiencing and sharing thoughts through books, as well as philosophy, politics, strategy, Niccolo Machiavelli. Okay, so that's that Renaissance time, summary of Renaissance time, the period of human rebirth, of human civilization. And as I said, you can find parallels all over the world. It's not only related to Europe. Okay, and we call this birth of humanism. Font is different because we had some technical problems, just to let you know. So birth of humanism, because we as creative people, we as people from art and design, we belong to a bigger actually umbrella, and our umbrella is humanism. You know? So I deeply believe that in order to be able to be innovative in any kind of creation, you can't be restricted only on, I look for other people, help other people design. No, you need to have knowledge about literature, about philosophy, about language, about art, design, history, etc. That is really mandatory you to kind of absorb in order to come up with new ideas. Okay. Let's talk about digital renaissance now. So if we follow that comparison, that the digital renaissance would be rebirth of digital era communication, and we are referring to well-known internet, yeah. And we are referring to this guy, Tim Berners-Lee, and I'll just remind you that when he proposed, let's talk about humanity now. I don't know if you know that, but once he proposed the whole system as a World Wide Web, yeah, he was rejected at the conference. And that happened in 1992. So he came up with a whole concept which we are using today, and some people decided to reject that and to kind of proclaim that as something important and it's possible. After that, he was accepted, yeah, and that's how we are now. I just want to tell you that there are always certain forces in our society and community which are trying to slow down or actually to stop progress. And when we are talking about sustainability, but this planet is super unsustainable. Do we agree? Or social innovation. So it's kind of like we are a bit, as humanity, we are huge hypocrites, okay? So, and that's the beginning of I would say that World Wide Web became actually what printing machine was for Renaissance period. Yeah, equally traveling around, because now we can be everywhere using that system. But at the beginning, I don't know if you know that, but at the beginning the whole idea was communication between academic and research institutions. That was the idea. To share publications, to share knowledge between each other. That was the basic idea. Okay. And then, you know, from that humble starts, we started to envision, and another thing really important, you know, we started to think about this concept of internet from 1930s. But we couldn't do it because we had lack of technology to fulfill that. And even the slide is not so clear, but I really like to show this because it shows that sometimes ideas are going ahead of development. Not sometimes, but always. So we started to think about the whole system in 30s, and then we come up with something we call now web, etc., etc. But the development, responsive web, we are enjoying at the moment responsive web, and we are enjoying semantic web or contextual web. But we are also talking about intelligent web, which is kind of like we are saying we kind of now have that intelligent web. But the last step is conscious web. Yeah, can you imagine that? Like conscious web. Okay, I don't know what exactly they mean, like when they are saying something like that. But it's really interesting to see from humble beginnings of this Renaissance time, what is our ambition actually, where we want to end up. And then we can talk about, referring to creation of Adam, we can talk about development or creation of humanoids or humans, which are actually kind of mixed between technology and humans. Because I'll remind you that you are spending, we call that hyperpresence. You are spending 70 times of your time, 70% of your time, you are actually spending in virtual world today. So only 30% of your time you are in physical world. And that new reality, which we are calling virtual reality, is something we need to face. And that was only possible with this rebirth of humans, which are actually technology humans. Humans who are heavily depending on technology. And this path, I'm afraid, is not reversible. Only if it's some apocalyptic, if some huge apocalypse comes and then everything is destroyed and then we need to come back to prehistorical. Okay, this is actually the original image of what he proposed. So from here, we ended up with what we have today. I just want to emphasize, and when we are talking about innovation and the development of the time, how that is coming from simple ideas and ending up with something more complex and influential, impactful to our civilization. So, and then we had the part of that idea was this URL, HTTP and FTP. I'm not going to talk about that today too much. And then we have something which allow us to have that content. Okay, so we need to have, we are again, metaphor about printing machine. So we needed that content to come to us. So then we are talking about web browsers. And the history of web browsers is also very interesting. Like what we had at the beginning and what are our tendencies, how to develop these web browsers in the future. And you can see even today that there is a huge change in how we are searching today. Noam Chomsky, famous philosopher, he said artificial intelligence, using artificial intelligence online now is just sophisticated way of searching. That's the first step, yeah. And then we have another thing, So we needed to come up, as we come up with the compass as to navigate our travels, we needed to come up with technology which will make us capable of disseminating that content, yeah. So we came up with HTML and JavaScript, which are actually web technologies we are using, and coding languages we are using to disseminate content. I'm always emphasizing disseminate content, because our society is changing, because we have that easy approach to knowledge and content. But as you can see, that was absolutely impossible without that significant, sufficient, and impactful development which follows that what we have now and we are enjoying as a users. So I would say that the third important element of disseminating knowledge using web is actually information architecture design. And that's, let's say, the base of development in order to communicate, in order to share the knowledge. So this was that Renaissance discoveries for digital Renaissance time. What was revolutionary to discover in order to be in this position today. Okay? Without that, it was not possible to be in this position today. And interactive communication is the core. So how we are perceiving knowledge today is different than how people were perceiving 500 years ago. And I really like to show this slide because it shows actually Apple website from 1996. And I would ask you now, do you like this website? No, you never said, oh, it's disgusting, it's ugly. But that was our beginning. We are forgetting our beginnings. And the key in that new way of disseminating knowledge was hypertextuality. Okay, so these small blue links, small words, we underline, was actually crucial for revolutionizing, I would say that, our society. But in what sense? Having knowledge approachable. Once you have knowledge approachable, you can do innovation. You can't make innovation without lean yourself in that contemplative process on foundation of this civilization, like foundational knowledge of this civilization. Okay. So I would say this was actually the birth of digital humanism. And we changed this. So once upon a time, all the knowledge was actually very exclusive, and it was related to some small communities as temples and monasteries, etc. Now that knowledge is very approachable, so we changed libraries for browsers, and that's what makes us capable of coming up with new ideas. Okay, that's the first period of our development, our Renaissance time. So let's move now to Baroque. Baroque, the key of Baroque is like theater and music. So if I say theater and music, if we want to reflect that on digital Baroque, that will be what? Theater and music, that was the key. So before that was only paintings, and then we come up with theater and music. And as you can see, perception of Adam, this is Adam again, Adam and Eve, they are a bit different than this dude, with the strong hand, from Renaissance time. It's more contemplative, and that idea of involving theater and music is actually multimedia. Okay, so for the first time we have multimedia in Baroque. And we thought we are the establishers of multimedia expression, yeah? Okay. Another thing really important, what we are discussing all the time, design is about society. You need to understand society in order to design for the society, for the users. Without that understanding, you can't do it. So it's not I'm sitting, I'm looking how somebody else is doing interface, I'm going to do the same. No, you need to understand society in the wider context, and then you can come up with your ideas. So during the Baroque time, we have a rise of civil society. So people who are rising through their businesses, yeah. So industry is really important, plays really important role in development of anything. Then we have science. This is another paint by Rembrandt. The first one is Night Guard. This one is an anatomy class of Dr. Tulp. So science plays really important role. So in that time we started to understand human body. Then we have, this is Rome, the Church of St. Peter in Rome. The way how we started to design was actually to show that vibrant, luxurious, not saving money on showing the luxury, yeah? And of course coming with new ideas. And then music. So this is Bach, okay? So it was revolutionizing the music. And it was usually part of religious rituals. We had that multimedia involved. Okay. Let's now think about our digital Baroque. As you can see, all this is 100 years. 100 years of Renaissance, now 100 years of Baroque. And in our world now, everything is changing in 5 to 10 years, even less. So in that Baroque, we have a time of moving from digital prosperity and bubble expansion. So do you know this term web bubble? You heard about web bubble. It's actually very related to how we develop through what we call now World Wide Web and what we call today, digital media, and we are kind of creative. We are creative on that digital media, etc. Because of the font change, we actually have this problem now. So we have rise of industry around digital media, yeah. Like we had in Prague, we have rise of industry, which started actually in 90s. And here is what? Adobe, yeah, so. We have rise of industry to support what we want to create, what we want to communicate. And then what we have now, as you can see, the image is the same, Night Guard, but it's actually in Photoshop 4.0. So every content we have as an analog content, we digitalize now. Now we live in the world of pixels instead of an analog world of colors and music. And so every artifact now, we can actually work on that because we changed the whole format of our creative outcome. And of course, technology we are using. And then we have something which is what you see is what you get. Again, I'm showing exactly how you are actually compiling this image with Bach, into code. So it's our world, we have world of coding. That was impossible to come with without science, yeah? And then we have hypertextuality or non-linear storytelling. So this is our Baroque, yeah? So this is our time. Technology which runs this time, as well as how that technology is monetizing our ideas and we can disseminate that ideas. And what are the necessary elements you need to involve in that development. And again, multimedia. Now we can come out with multimedia artifacts, and actually how we call computers metamedia. Because we can do multiple media formats into one. And it's that we can compare that actually with Baroque, when we said it was first time of like coming up with multimedia outcome. And that multimedia outcome was the biggest threat to graphic design. From that moment we started to call graphic design, just to let you know that, from that moment we started to call graphic design visual communication. From that moment. Because being only in that, single sense, which is sense of like vision, and being two-dimensional became not sufficient for our time. Okay, and then we have classicism. I'll go very fast to this classicism. It's the time of making things in order, making things in harmony, okay? Because Renaissance and Baroque time was kind of a bit chaotic, very dynamic, but putting things in order. And then we have science again, it's Isaac Newton, and we are getting physics as during that time we are getting physics as gravity theory as one of the important elements of our civilization. Then we have again science about our solar system, universe, etc. Again, music and industrial revolution. Okay, it's a time of industrial revolution. So we are starting to produce massively. And that trend never stopped. So we can say, oh yeah, we are creative, we are designers, but without having that utilization in industry and massive production, doesn't work like that. Then you are designing only for yourself. Okay? And let us see about our design classicism now, digital classicism. I would say that the main invention we can address as a classicism is open source culture. Okay? And how that open source culture affected us is that now when we want to design, instead of using single software, we are using ecosystem for our design workflow. And that's crucial change. that changed you forever, okay? And without open source culture, so once we move out from big companies who were like charging for their services and developed on our own, that open source culture, that was the moment we could have started with development. And that development came up with greed, okay? So believe it or not, this is the foundation of any online design. So whatever you design online, this greed approach is foundation. And because we had that, we could have built tools to help us in our design process. Then another important invention is content management server. Yeah, are you using it? So we don't need anymore to start from the scratch. We have tool to make it happen. Then we have cascading style sheet, yeah. So we had HTML for the structure of our web page. Now we have something to format our page, to make style of our page. And we have libraries and frameworks. And there is approach today to design, and I'm really big fan of that and supporter of that. It's a minimal computing approach. Okay, and that minimal computing approach is possible only because of this development. Before this, it was impossible. We can talk about that one day, but it's a different topic. Okay, and we have dynamic pages. So kind of we are changing content based on requirements from the users. So that was actually our classicism. So putting things in order, yeah, putting things in order, and create certain ecosystem which allows you to come up with your digital creation in all senses, like from the concept to dissemination. Okay, then we have modernism, and when we are talking about modernism, we are actually talking about search for new forms of expression. So the first period was developing tools and coming up with the basic ideas. Then we need to innovate the way we are expressing ourselves. Yeah? Okay. So let's enjoy this video. Oh, sorry, we can't enjoy this video because I need to start it here. This is a metaphor of modernization. Presented on this video. So the period of modernism is actually a period of new materials and new techniques, like Eiffel Tower. The period of modernism is non-linear storytelling. So we think we invented non-linear storytelling. No, it was invented 150 years ago. I'm just trying to tell you these cycles, how without us understanding the whole history and the knowledge, we can't innovate. That's impossible. By thinking that everything starts from us is very egocentric, yeah? Then what else we have during that model? Dadaism. Like, we don't follow the rules anymore. So we want to come up with completely new expression. But I will just remind you, no matter how this Dadaism as an artistic movement was revolutionary, actually followed certain a certain, structure. It's not I'm coming up with something which is out of nowhere. Then what else we have? We have surrealism, Salvador Dali. So we want to present something which is invisible. Yeah, I mean, at that time, we're talking about 100 years ago, okay? And we have contemplation, it's Rodin, the thinker. So we are contemplating about our time. But the idea is we want to come up with new forms. 100 years ago. Okay, what is our digital? Actually, modernism. We want to come with new forms as well. Okay, so we are in search for new forms, but the environment is different. And the idea beside that co-creation is again something which we didn't invent on our own. I mean nowadays. And in that digital modernism, and do you know actually when Facebook became open worldwide? Can you tell me the year? It's 2007, 2008. That's only, what, 15 years ago? And, say? More than 15. A bit, yeah. I'm trying to put small, too short of it. But the point is, and we now, we can't live without that, yeah? It's kind of the way we live. The way how we are positioning ourselves in society. Last night we were discussing about failure. So in order to be good in what you're doing, you need to fail. That somebody said, you're good in what you're doing based on number of failures you had in your life, not number of successes. But you as a new generation, I understand one thing, for you it's hard to fail. You know why? Because your failure is public. You can't share your failure with your parents and your boyfriend or girlfriend or, friend. No, it's public, it's on social media. So for you to, and that's actually, in a way, obstacle for future development. That approach to, I need to have this digital status in society. That's important part of my existence. Okay, and this is actually the content we are perceiving in DSISCX, and it's iconic actually graph. So, what we are doing actually today, not today, we are talking about, again, 10, 15 years ago. We are all the time, we don't have physical friends. Only few. But we have bunch of virtual friends, yeah? And that's our co-creation now. Before our co-creation was in real space, yeah, physical, analog space. Now our co-creation is digital. And we have we are competing who has more friends we never saw in our life. And now I will show you actually a project which was done by my students, graduate students in US. We are now spending time in virtual reality more and more. So it's not only our reality, but our physical reality, but also virtual reality. And there is a huge potential to come up with relevant content in that sense. Yeah. So this project, as you know, Detroit is a very dangerous city. Yeah, it's very dangerous, and nobody wants to come there. But Detroit has really rich history, especially music history. And then we said, okay, let's offer virtual Detroit, which is not dangerous one, a notorious Detroit which exists today, but certain Detroit which shows values of that city. And let's take people worldwide into that Detroit, which we decided to be part of Detroit music history. Okay. And this project, by the way, was presented at Ars Electronica and Detroit Month of Design. they're saying Asian students are not talented, but they're all Asian students, from India and South of Korea. So I think you are the most talented people in the world. So, and then another thing, we have data-driven design. So we are collecting data about ourselves, about the users, and that is reflecting on our design. That was, of course, impossible without technology. And also we have crowdsourcing. So new way of generating and collecting knowledge. So that's our modernism, our new form of expression. Social media, crowdsourcing, virtual reality. That's our model, the new way of expression. Okay. And then we have postmodernism. We are coming slowly to the end of the presentation. And the postmodernism is actually era of hyper-reality. And Baudrillard said that postmodernism is giving you opportunity to live in the world which doesn't exist. It's actually a result of your imagination, a result of how the world you want to live in. Okay, so that world doesn't exist. And I will give you example. For example, adverts are worlds which doesn't exist, but we are persuaded that that world actually exists and we live that world. Okay. And then this guy, which is actually Andy Warhol, the father of pop art, who actually started to criticize society and industrial development and trying to tell us that we are living in simulacrum, something which doesn't exist. And here I'm going to show again projects of my students from Shantou University. Shantou is actually a city in China, Guangdong province. In 2019, they had a challenge to come up with pseudo-realities. We are talking about a postmodernism. So come up with really personal reality. The reality which essentially is reflecting you as very unique experience, which is inclusive only for a person who has experienced it. And we come up with this project, and this project was also presented to us at Chonica 2019. So different forms of how to enjoy using technology and creating new experiences. so for this glutinous, this kind of snake, you know, it actually reacts on your face. So if you are sad, then you are killing the snake. And if you are happy, so it's a facial recognition. It was really fantastic. So that's the additional explanation. Another really interesting project, again, undergraduate students from Shantou University, the idea of hyperpresence. Okay, so it's actually virtual reality museum, but what is actually key, I will point on that once we come up to that point of this project. Absolutely fantastic project, part of one of the courses I was teaching them, which is dynamic system design, and then we were like focused on virtual reality and emerging technologies. Just to remind you, this is like from 2019. Okay, so it's like 2018, 2019. Much earlier than what now they are promoting to us. And it was virtual reality museum, but the part which is really absolutely fantastic, what my students achieved, is you can play digitally instruments, Chinese instruments, which are not existing at the moment. Imagine that. So you are getting, in that digital postmodernism, you are getting experiences which are not existing anymore. You're getting something which you can't find actually in physical world. That momentum is just, it will come very soon. And I'm reminding you, it's 2018, 2019, so 6 years ago. So you are choosing the instrument, lute, and wow, you play it. Okay? Virtual, of course. So that's why this project is absolutely fantastic. Okay. And then, you know, for the end of this like overview of postmodernism, you know, we follow the Industrial Revolution. So the Industrial Revolution, again, you know, the industrialism is pushing us to understand what are our tendencies, what are the trends. You can see 2020 human-robot collaboration, cognitive systems, and customization. We are not still didn't come up at that point. But because as I see that you are enjoying these videos, I'm going to continue with digital postmodernism, which is an era of hybrid reality. And we will start, when we are talking about hybrid reality, we are starting with spatial design and Internet of Things, yeah? So we are moving toward 3D space, we are moving to another space with our digital content. This project is thesis project, one of my students from Detroit. It's a really interesting project. You will see now, it's actually climbing wall for blind people. So blind people, because of their special need, I rather say special need and disability, they have certain restriction and experiences we have as normal individuals. Our job as designers are to deliver that kind of exclusive experiences to people who cannot have it. That should be one of our goals overall. So this project is absolutely fantastic. The project was actually nominated for the UX Design Award, which is like a really prestigious world award. And I will show you now how this actually looks like.
Audio Jungle.
Right hand, 2 o'clock, far reach.
Congratulations, you have crossed the first checkpoint.
super cool, guys.
It is very well thought out.
Important to say is this. Before Michiel started to work on this project, zero knowledge about technology he used, just to be clear. So everything was part of the educational process. Okay, then we have singularity in society. This is one of my projects now I'm going to show, which is using artificial intelligence, cloning philosophers, and then we are getting interpretation, new reality of our philosophical knowledge, delivered by artificial entities. Okay? So the name of this project is actually Metaphysics of the Machines.
In the Bible, Aristotle, general or ecclesiast, but in the court, in the senate, in the assembly, which individual senators or ecclesiasts or castes are bound to answer mercy. And this means victory in the victory of the Bible or victory in Aristotle. In the secondary, Aristotle says the black person is the devil, which in the context of one is the king sometimes takes the exact on the words idea, not saying
If you want to learn more about project, kind of like at least like publications I did with my collaborators, and you can read about the project. Project was presented in SIA, was presented in SIGGRAPH, so you can read about the project and the whole idea behind the project. And the project is ongoing actually, so we are still working on different segments of the project, including trying to come up with the idea of attaching consciousness to artificial intelligence. So I'm talking about new experience. That's the whole idea, what we can get now, and how actually our existing world is changing by using technology, including knowledge. And then AI augmented reality future. Another project, which shows, sorry. This project is again project I'm presenting as a philosophy. It's actually how everything started with these robots. I started to make these AI philosophers. And this is from Ars Electronica 2018. It was presented there for the first time. Oh no, for the second time. Before that was social SIGGRAPH Asia in Bangkok. And after that, last format, as part of our digital postmodernism, I would say is the blockchain technology. And mainly, there is no any example, right? That's showing here. Like, we are facing new formats we can use to disseminate knowledge and to build new experiences. And we, as designers and creative persons, we need to be focused on that part as well. Okay. Then, what I believe, the phone is not good. What I believe would be a new approach to education. So we need to actually, we need to change the way we teach students art and design. Yeah, we understand that now, I hope so. But the first thing is like the education teaching approach needs to be transformative. So working on changing your beliefs. I hope I changed a bit of your beliefs, by showing this presentation. And I triggered you to think differently of not only humanity, but the way development, innovation, but the way you should actually approach to your creative practice. And another important part of changing this educational approach, we are not anymore working with skills, we are working with ecosystems. So our design workflow is an ecosystem rather than skill. I still remember 24 years ago when I bought my Adobe Photoshop Bible, ordering from Amazon to learn how to use Adobe 4.0. That's history, okay? So I deeply believe that if we still stick as like our field, our umbrella. If we stick only with teaching skills, that is going to be redundant very soon. Why? Because my son is 4 years old and he's playing games. Already, okay? And in 13 years, he's going to be a student in this university. Are we going to sell him Photoshop, Bible, save as, and etc. So I think that should be focus for the future generations of teachers, scholars, as well as how to approach to design as a knowledge in the future and transferring to students. I'll show the result of this approach because that's my approach. So, and I will show the result now of that approach. So the first project is actually, again, a project done with industrial partner took this solution for their interface really. So the first year's graduate student, and my dear said, we want this. I mean, we are going to continue to, and I think that's the real integration between like education and industry. Not always considering us as a low force, So let's try with the students, and let's give them something to do. It doesn't matter, if it's successful or not. I think that to have that influence by offering solutions which will be accepted by industry should be educational goal. Another project is collaboration between General Motors and graduate students. Graduate students of user experience design and undergraduate students of transportation design. The challenge was designing a 2050 car, okay, like kind of in the future. And again, when they came to see the exhibition, these solutions, they said like, this is something the best they saw in the last, few years, exhibition done by solutions and how everything was organized by students. So just one of the projects.
Polestar, the futuristic advanced car in the year 2040. The Polestar car is an innovative solution for accessing information about the surrounding architectural landscape. It offers advanced capabilities to access 3D models and historical data for various buildings via heads-up displays and holograms in architectural discovery mode. The car is ideal for architects, urban planners, and enthusiasts, revolutionizing architectural exploration and discovery. By selecting a particular year, the car passes through a time tunnel, and its artificial intelligence can recreate the surrounding buildings from that era.
Etc. I'm switching now to another project, which we are kind of like not running out of time. So this project is actually thesis project again. After we have this, like climbing wall for the blind people. This is a post thesis project. how to help young drivers to avoid angry driving, so becoming angry while driving. I think in every country, so the idea, as you can see, the idea was actually to come up with some solutions which will deliver new experience but equally improve your quality of life. I think that's the core idea of design. If design doesn't fulfill that part, it's not design. For me, it's not design. So we need to, there are some things saying, like design is everyday aesthetic. So design needs to deliver improvement of our quality of life. It's good design, of course. So this one is also, as you can see, everything is actually gadget. So you can easily, instead of pushing industry, and that's this holistic approach to design, instead of pushing industry to change, you are offering change which will not affect them, so there will be kind of easy acceptance by the users because they can put inside any car. Because if you want industry to change, you will never employ your solution because they are really slow in changing, especially car industry.
Anger is something that everyone, no matter their age or gender, can feel. And this anger puts drivers at risk while driving. When drivers get angry, they're more likely to have serious accidents, which can even be deadly.
Papa, I love you. Let's eat pizza together tonight.
Calm Drive is an intelligent system to prevent angry driving. We think it's important to help drivers avoid getting angry, to make roads safer. As the driver's heart rate and stress levels increase, the Calm Drive system plays a pre-recorded message from a loved one before the driver enters a state of anger.
You're doing okay.
How busy a little, Mom?
A little?
This helps drivers prevent anger while driving. Drivers can also choose from pre-recorded Calm Drive samples or use AI-generated prompts from the Calm Drive app. The ComDrive AI also gives tips on handling anger every day based on their physiological data and lets them keep track of their anger levels. Let ComDrive be your companion on the road, turning stressful drives into journeys of calm and safety. Together, we can create a safer driving environment for everyone.
I will not actually make any additional comments. I will just I will leave that to you. I will say thank you for having me today. I hope you enjoy it today.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Allow us to interrogate you for a couple more minutes. Will that be okay? All right, guys. That's such a compact, full, I would say less than an hour perhaps, yeah? You have pretty much bring us towards the whole century of the Renaissance, which is pretty much the historical of design, yeah? Yeah, guys, while I am buying the time to let Dr. Predrag catch some breath, perhaps we can start by having a little bit of questions. And Doctor? Water.
Oh, no, thank you. It's okay. I have to take it.
Yeah. All right. I actually have been supplied with 6 questions, actually, done by my fellow teammates, yeah, Mr. Charlie. He is unable to be around today, but then again, I'm trying not to deliver questions which, that have been covered throughout the session, and pretty much, I do believe that some of these questions are pretty much covered. But what I am attracted to start off the dice or the ball, that you were from OGV group and Grey group before, yeah? Perhaps if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your experience and the whole structure of being in the industry or being in these 2 agency, yeah?
So, thank you for that question, because recently we had a small discussion, actually last night. So, there are certain biases within the academia, because I've been on both sides. So I spent 26 years in industry and 20 years in education. I worked for all these big companies, like top 400 companies in the world, leading advertising agencies, etc. And once I decided to fully be only in academia and to run my own projects, not to stop actually to be part of corporate world, I actually started to analyze how I would say that I had that privilege, that I had that industrial background, so I was always accepted really well, like he has industrial experience and he's academia. But then what I think is a big problem of academia is like the people who are coming from industry, they are more worth than people who are like from academia in a sense of transferring knowledge. That's not true. I'm telling you. So I don't have any reason to be on one or another side. Yeah, I'm on both sides. Yeah, but I need to remind you that like teaching students is not teaching somebody, transferring knowledge is not something, because now we are coming to industrial experience, is not something which is part of our job in industry. Part of our job in industry is to make money for the company. How you are making money for that company? By applying efficient and productive solutions which are required, in order to lower down the cost, increase the profit. Which means at certain point of time, you are starting to work in certain routine. Okay? That's knowledge, but that's not education. We need to be clear about that. So if somebody is saying to me, oh, let's bring this teacher, he's from industry. Yes, I don't mind. But that person needs to develop I started 20 years ago, and today I'm better teacher than 20 years ago. Because I developed that skill. It's a skill like any other skill. So industry does not allow too much space for innovation, just to let you know that as well, especially advertising. Advertising is, I call that digital hygiene. So once they see the way how to make money, they are doing that. Probably nobody told you ever these stories, and everybody's coming. I don't have reason, to be on any side, so I'm very honest with you. So why I left the industry? Because I became bored. So when I started, I was lucky actually that in every organization I joined, like Ogilvy, Gray, J. Walter Thompson, I was in charge to build digital department because I was pioneer. So they were bringing me to build digital services. Once I was done with that, I was becoming bored because they see the tricks, they see how to come up with solutions, and they don't push any more innovation. So at the beginning, I was enjoying because I had like free hands and I could do anything I want because they trust me in everything. Once I taught them certain system how to make profit, they started to restrict me. That's why I left the industry. That's why I'm now running my own companies, because I'm bored of doing every day the same things. Because then you're not designer anymore. Yeah, then you're like robot. You're like Charlie Chaplin, like every day. So what I'm saying is this. It's important to spend time in the industry. It's actually necessary. It will profile your design character, okay? And you can decide to stay in the industry because money is there. At certain point, I'm advising you to either become entrepreneur, so to start your own stuff. I think that's the very logical development of your career. So at the beginning, industry, taking that practical knowledge. Understanding corporate environment, understanding business is very important. Being under that pressure, which is corporate pressure, to build your design character is very important. But I just want to make a clear distinction between your professors who are teaching you and industry. Industry is not preparing you to be educator. Okay, so do not, as I said, I'm saying that again and again and again, I don't have anything against anybody. Through my experience, in order to profile me as a teacher, my practical experience helped me, but I needed years to become a mature teacher actually, and to be successful in that, which is actually much more important. Being teacher without being successful in that is kind of lost cause. So yeah, that's what I want to transfer to you from my industrial experience. You should be there, you should spend time there. It's very inspiring and good, teaching, learning trajectory. But if you really want to deliver something to the society, then at certain point you should leave. And if you follow career of anybody in the industry, anybody, including, tell me, what's the guy who actually designed, Johnny, it's not Johnny X, the guy who designed iPhone and Macintosh Egg. I forgot now. After many years in Apple, now he's running his own business because he become bored of designing again and again same design you are adoring. Because Apple, as an industry, didn't want to move away from that design. So yeah, that's my opinion from about the industry and time you should spend there.
That's great. The reason why I actually asked, because just to give you a little bit of profiling about us, because most of us, as my fellow friends, some of us are fresh and pretty much, taking and upgrading our education, of course, to look upon getting into the job market, while some of us are already in the job market and perhaps finding a solution. Now, you are being known as interaction designer and interactive media artist, yes? Now, from the evolution that you have portrayed to us in the presentation just now, from 2.0, 3.0, and coming from my observation as well in terms of the position, yeah, maybe you can just give us a little bit of your point of view in terms of description. What is actually interaction designer and what is interactive media artist in a point of what you call it scope and what do you guys do actually? Yeah.
So when I came to China, 2017, I don't Shantou University. I'll share with you what was the first question of third-year students. They asked me, Professor, could you tell us what is interaction design? And I said, after 3 years of studying, you're still not sure what is interaction design. Is that right answer on your question?
Yeah.
And then we started to talk about that. So what is actually interaction design? What you are designing? Because it's easy for car designer is designing car, yeah? Graphic designer is designing poster. Fashion designer is designing shirt. So it's physical. The outcome is physical. Interaction designer outcome is not physical. It's very abstract. And then, what is that outcome? What are the components of that interaction design? And then I have a question every time when I am starting teaching, I have a question from the students, and I'm saying, okay, put in order user experience design, interaction design, and user interface design. And do you know how many times students didn't do it well? Actually, they didn't have proper answer on that question. So, user experience design. I was chair of that department, and many times I was talking with my colleagues. They said, oh, user experience, it's everything. I said, wait a second. How we didn't have user experience design term 30 years ago? Nobody was talking about user experience design in 70s and 80s. And you are saying to me now that you are a product designer who are making chairs, and you are also in the field of user experience design. So you are saying to me that in 2015, in 2020, you became user experience designer, but before that, you were actually human factor designer, ergonomics designer, etc., etc. All these terms, and now we are coming to my idea of interactive design and user experience design, comes with technology we developed, okay? With responsive technology we developed. So, this chair doesn't have anything with user experience design, but I can make this chair to have relation with user experience design if I make this chair smart chair. So needs to be that loop between me interacting with the chair and chair responding to me. At the moment, chair doesn't respond to me, yeah? I'm just sitting, it's really nice. Chair is dead, yeah? So there is no user experience design, just to be clear. It's ergonomics, human factors, different things we have as part of product design. But interaction design and user experience design is related to responsive technology. So we have quest or query to the system is responding. And then what we are designing, we are coming to that point. What we are actually designing. We are designing behavior and emotional triggers. Because we have that responsive system. Without responsive system, interaction design doesn't exist. Dot. So who is saying that? He doesn't have a clue. So what we are doing, and we even have a term which is also controversial, and I'm trying actually to work on that too, and to promote that term, it's aesthetic of behavior. There is certain aesthetic in behavior. And when you are doing interaction design, you need to take care about that as well. It's not just me, like behind us are now time of mouses. We are engaging all our body in that interaction. The way how we engage our body plus senses is how we are going to feel about that. And interaction design is second step of user experience design, just to be clear, in that kind of schedule of steps. And user interface is the last one. Yeah, it's a visual part. But now more and more sound part as well, because we have voice interfaces. But that's another story. So, what we are designing actually when we want to talk about interaction design, we are designing behavior and emotional triggers. In order to design that, you can't have certain autistic knowledge. So you need to know a lot about psychology. It's not only about color history. It's not about visual vocabulary, which is line, dot, surface. You need to understand psychology. You need to understand technology. You need to understand, as I presented, human knowledge, society, social, not innovation, but social anomalies. Because we are designing behavior, we are becoming inclusive designers. Maybe we are like the most important component of inclusive design. Inclusive design is done for the person. And when I'm talking about inclusivity, I'm not talking about only people. There is cultural inclusivity. So I'm going to design differently that interaction design and user experience for somebody who is from Asia and somebody who is from Europe and somebody who is from Africa. So we really need to have that holistic knowledge in order to be interaction designers. And that's something when you ask me my idea or my understanding of interaction design and how the interaction design should be employed in industry as well as in education, that's that idea. It's the way how to teach is not only through skills. I'm kind of trying also to close up to you this idea of holistic approach to teaching. Interactive media art, for me again, is just a tool in my hands to research. As I said, art is not mute. Mute art is simply boring and useless. So I'm using art as there is actually research method, first time published, you can read about that. It's an art-based research method. So I'm promoter, I belong to that group of people who are using art to give contribution to behavioral science, social sciences, computer science, etc. So that's how I see. So I'm just talking about art can be utilized as well. Art is not only something like how I became, I will tell you a story and you will understand better what I'm saying, what I'm trying to share with you today. So I've been in 2010 in Japan with my brother in Tokyo. And he's a physicist. And we had a quarrel in the supermarket. And he said, you artist, you are useless. You can't do any contribution to this society and civilization like science. And that was actually a trigger for me to prove that that's not true. Unfortunately, I'm facing that phenomena that people are trying to escape into art in order to build certain reputation, exclusive reputation in society. This like, he's an artist, we don't understand him. For me, that's nothing. That means nothing. So, your general tendency as a human being should be to communicate your ideas through different types of expressive or creative practice of expressive tools or expressive forms. But communicating ideas, sharing ideas, is something which should be in the core of any kind of that creative act.
All right. Can I have, from the floor?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Professor Dr. Predrag. And thank you for your showing your interactive. My name is Zhao Jie. I come from China. I major in interactive animation, 3D interactive animation and the communication study. So I'm very interested in your talk about the interactive art. So I'm also the challenges about, you talk about it. People don't care for and don't familiar with the interactive technology. I just think you're very great and excellent lectures to talk about, the two cultures like the CP Snow and the science and the humanistic. I think good examples to bridge the gap between science and art. Thank you so much. And also you share you like the Chinese music instrument and also humanistic like open source inspired, like people can't see and can touch the Arduino like that. I think it's very great and in the future. Okay, I have two short questions and want to talk with you. I just want to take a metaphor you talk about the digital development, the history. Like you said to talk about the digital readiness and digital how to see the backlog. Oh, this is great. And I take how to see the proposition like media, tech, soil, media, tech, soil. And I see there is a different layer of the media. And you have talked about the AI, also the open source like that. Maybe in the future, AI now is new, but maybe 10 or 100 years is maybe old media. And what to think about which technology and which part of this is like a diamond, it's very expensive diamond. And now we haven't found it, and maybe in the future, it's maybe like how to see the volcano to bring out, and which technology will be low down and which will be rise. What do you think about it? Thank you, Professor.
Okay, so by the way, I worked in China 4 years, and I have really a fantastic experience here. So, if we talk, so you need to understand one thing, all technology we have at the moment are not new technologies. We just managed to monetize that technology at this particular point of time. So I'll remind you that actually virtual reality is technology from 70s, built by military for simulations. But we couldn't monetize. The guy who invented actually virtual reality came to a conference in Singapore. I was there, and he was talking about something else. They said, "Could you tell us something about virtual reality?" I said, "I don't have anything else to say, Everything is already said, about virtual reality." Artificial intelligence is actually an idea from Alan Turing, from 1942, when they tried to break, this Enigma code. But in order to come up with deep learning, we needed to have data. At that time, we didn't have web, so we needed it. So what I'm saying, that's why I took you back 500 years in human history. Humans are actually behind their capacities. We are actually behind. We think we are advanced, we are not. If I tell you that we have 1,000 years of dark ages, who is going to make up for that? But nobody. And so what would be a next, so I could say like this, like a parrot, oh, AI is that new technology which is going to change our life. First of all, it's not new technology. Monetization of AI as technology is going to change our lives. So we need to make that distinction between technology as per se, French saying there, and utilization of that technology. So AI is going to play a crucial part in that changes, for sure. But how that will end up, there are 3 types of creativity, according to Margaret Bowden, First one is combinatorial, exploratorial, and transformative. That combinatorial is what is actually running our civilization. We're combining things. I think iPhone is nothing new, it's just combining things. What I'm saying is this. It's not about technology, it's about utilization of certain technology. Definitely the big players are artificial intelligence, smart and intelligent devices, so Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, so that system integration is going to change things a lot. And of course, these virtual realities, but I'm not going to favorize any of them. Augmented, virtual, mixed reality. I'll tell you why. Because they're kind of like jumps, 2014, everybody, VR, is going to be next big thing, Then failed. Then AR is going to be big thing, Then failed. Now we are struggling. We are still struggling, like Meta Pro. Like when I tried for the first time Meta Pro, it was, ooh, this is really something. Then they come up with Meta 3, which is also decent, much cheaper, Then Vision Pro failed because of the money issue, it's too expensive. Now Meta is coming with Orion, It's kind of business, That's what I was trying to explain also, rising businesses, But technologies are there. And they are not going to decline. They are going to change. that the way we are going to use them is going to be changed. Because web technologies, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, invented 25 years ago, still working well. Oh, it's advanced now. Okay, it's different. When I started, CSS didn't exist. I can tell you exactly the year when we launched for the first time CSS, 2001. Before that, nothing. 2002, still, hybrid. It's another story, But the point is that technologies are there. They are changing. They are declining, uprising and declining. What is going to disappear are not technologies. Professions are going to disappear. And that's the different thing. So we have two things when we are talking about development. We are talking about utilization of technologies which are existing. And the second one, end of professions. I want to make it more dramatic. Death of professions, death of professions, and the rising of new professions. And that is going to change. And that was changing through history as well. All the time is like that. Technology is pushing, is in need of new professions and kind of switching off some existing professions. New technology, like do something which is going to be radically different than what we have today, I can't come up with that idea at the moment. I think that we have a lot to work on existing technologies, like how we call that emerging technology. I'll tell you, virtual reality is emerging technology for the last 50 years. I imagine that, I think it will move to bio something. If I need to make a free guess for some really new technology, I think it will be something bio. You know why? Because we as a species, we are actually not so advanced, Nothing much happened in so-called evolution, for last 250 million years ago. So for us as a humans, So maybe something bio, which already exists, But if we talk about something which is kind of part of our environment and our reality, I think we should rather think about utilization and rise of new professions.
Okay. Yep. Thank you so much, Doctor. Well, I love to drag this much more longer, but I do believe we are limited of time. Yeah. So thank you so much, Doctor, for having us. Yeah, it's a pleasure. You may remain first, Doctor. I'm going to pass to Jurnal first. Yeah, and to pursue with our next program. Yeah. Thank you so much. Another round of applause to Dr. Predrag, guys.
Thank you to Dr. Predrag Nikolic for the invaluable presentation. The insights you have shared with us today have certainly opened our minds and inspired us all. We are grateful for the time and effort you have taken to join us and impart such knowledge. Thank you also to our moderator, Mr. Fairuz Falufi Fauzi. The event will now continue with the presentation of mementos. We would like to invite Dr. Razif Abdul Razak and technologist Dr. Hafizah Rosli to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Professor Emeritus Dato Dr. Ahmad Zainuddin. Please welcome. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite our esteemed speaker, Dr. Predrag Nikolic, to receive the mementos. Please welcome. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Razif Abdul Raza and technologist Dr. Hafizah Rosli for their gracious act of presenting the token of appreciation to our invited honored guests. As we come to the close of today's event, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has made this event a success. To our esteemed speakers, honored guests, and participants, thank you for sharing your insights, time, and presence with us today. Let us now carry forward the inspiration and knowledge we have gained and continue to work towards a brighter future. On behalf of the organizing team, thank you once again. With that, I hereby conclude today's session. Have a wonderful evening and stay safe, everyone. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. To mark the occasion, we would like to invite everyone, our distinguished guests, lecturers, students, to come forward for a group photo session. Please, everyone, to the front. Thank you. Yes, please, everyone. Tolong angkat meja, alih meja sekejap. Okay.
Bukan pedang.
Please, everyone who is present today, to enjoy the meal we have prepared. Thank you.